This is one of these videos that I've tried several times to make it because I have so much to say, but I'm going to try to keep it short. For one thing, one of my favorite quotes from St. Paul: am I trying to please men? If I were still pleasing men, I would not be a servant of Christ. We believe that the bishops are successors to the apostles, and Paul was an apostle. Oh, that a bishop would say, am I trying to please people? Am I a people pleaser? I don't care about pleasing people. I care about the truth of Christ, which ultimately becomes pleasing in the long run. But I want to refer to the gospel. In the gospel, the scribes and Pharisees criticized the disciples for not washing before they eat. This was one of the many Mosaic laws. Jesus has come to fulfill the law, not to abolish it. And in fulfilling it, he says, sanctity, in so many words, is not about external actions or dietary restrictions. It's not what goes into your mouth, it's what comes out that determines whether or not you're holy, because what comes out of your mouth originates in your heart. And we're holy from the inside out, not from the outside in. But the scribes are all bent out of shape about hand washing. Well, guess what? Pontius Pilate washed his hands publicly. I wash my hands of this. And then he went on to crucify Christ. Clearly, external impositions that are mere traditions of men do not make for sanctity. The example Jesus uses is if you have an obligation to support your parents and give them something and you say instead, well, I'm giving this to the synagogue. It's not really yours. That's not really holy. That's not really honoring your father, even though the Jews allowed that, or the scribes and Pharisees did. Their religious leaders did. Now, we have many people who believe in, who put forth substitutes for sanctity today in the church. We have a local Chesterton society, and the subject of Chesterton's canonization came up, his cause. And one of the people said, well, I would not accept the cause for canonization for G.K. Chesterton unless there was proof of his Marian devotion. Well, for one thing, he did have a Marian devotion. For another, what about St. Peter? Where's the proof of his Marian devotion? There is none. It's wonderful to have a devotion to Our Lady. It's not necessary. There are other ways to be holy. Of course, Chesterton inspired people through his writings and has brought countless converts into the Catholic Church, including me. And clearly he lived a life of stunning virtue, and even his enemies loved him. But if you set a false standard, if you say you're not Catholic like I am, if you don't pray the prayers I pray, that's nonsense. Don't listen to people who are trying to feed you a man-made standard for sanctity. Use your common sense. It's not about hand washing. It's not about what you eat. It's about who you are. I got to go because I got to teach a class.